But yeah, man, we had Khalil Mack, man. He just got traded, obviously, to the LA Chargers. And with his deal, I believe it was for a second round pick and a sixth round draft pick. But the Chargers have to take on his contract. Now, when you think about Khalil Mack, we know who he is, man. He is as good as advertised. He, is up there with TJ Watt. Those are the type of guys, that he is in conversation with because of what he's been able to do on the field and how he's been a consistent all-pro defense player of the year guy. Like he's that caliber player. But man, when I saw the trade, at first I was like, man, that was it?
Yeah.
Like, I just thought it would be a lot more than that, right? But, is the contract...
Yeah, because Von Miller went for a second and a third.
Yeah, right. So for him to go for a second and a sixth, it's like I get the contract is massive still, but what you're getting in terms of that talent, man...
I think it's a good deal on both sides. I just think the Bears should have gotten more. That's my only thing. Because they're in rebuild mode. They got to get rid of that because the cap hit for him the next couple of years in like the 20 millions. And this is why it works for the Chargers because his dead cap's not bad. So they have a ton of cap space this offseason.
Yeah.
If they just want to have him for this year, things don't work out. He's banged up, injured. He starts to get washed. Yeah, his dead cap's like 11 million. So you just deal with that. That's why you have Herbert at quarterback. This is why you take those chances, kind of like the Rams.
And they got Bosa on the other side of them, so you still kind of hedge that bet anyways.
Yeah, I think it was good for both sides. Like for the Chargers, this is the right time to make that type of move with Herbert on a rookie contract. You feel that you could probably be Super Bowl contenders if you could just build a pretty decent team around them. Yeah, and with them having a ton of cap space, you know what? Khalil Mack's not a bad guy to start off with this offseason. Re-signing Mike Williams, bringing in Mack. Mm-hmm. And then you see what's happening in the AFC West with Broncos bringing in Russell Wilson and everyone kind of loading up. You don't want to be left in the dust right there because you still missed out on the playoffs. But we all view the Chargers as that caliber team, kind of pretty much even with the Chiefs. Because you got to think, I think Herbert's, 3-1 against Mahomes?
Yeah.
It's just they haven't been able to, keep it together.
Correct.
Keep it together.
Yeah, the Chargers, they definitely have those swings of inconsistency, and they swing just a lot lower at times, and that's what affects them to that extent. But I'm definitely with you, though, man. Like, the Chargers, I mean, I love the move for them. Like I said, it makes sense for the Bears as well. It's just for me, when I see the price, and I'm like, you mean to tell me if it didn't pan out a year later, you can get away with, roughly 11 mil in dead money? Like, is Khalil Mack not worth that flyer? Like, just asking. Like, I like Alex Highsmith. I do.
You're talking about for us. Yeah.
I was just thinking. Like, because in the sense of like, okay, do we stick with a Mason or do we draft a young quarterback? Okay, we say you beef up everything else around him. Khalil Mack and TJ Watt versus TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. Which one would you prefer?
That's obvious. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's kind of my whole thing with it. And it still doesn't take away from you having Alex Highsmith on your roster. He still is your third guy because he's on a rookie contract. So it's not like you're saying you get rid of him. And essentially, if you wanted to treat Khalil as a 1 year high expense rental to make sure you have the absolute best roster out there with potentially Mason, Haskins, or any young quarterback that we could acquire, just makes me wonder, like, man, should we have considered that?
I don't think it would have been bad to consider. Only second round pick. It's just the contract. Do we want to be paying Khalil Mack? So I think his cap hit's 18 right now.
Yeah.
It's between 18 and 20 versus because then the whole other option would be, you spend that 18 on this player. That's it.
Right.
But if Khalil Mack can turn back the clock a little bit, I mean, he was playing good last year until he got hurt.
It was just he got hurt. That was it. So I guess my question is a this player and a that player that you could, if 2 or 3 players you could get for one Khalil Mack price, do you think those 3 guys impact the game the way that Khalil Mack would impact the game, especially playing opposite TJ Watt with Cam Hayward in the inside and you still got Minkah Fitzpatrick on the back end? I just personally think that, he's that type of guy. He will be worth it to me if that's the route we're going. Now, if we're still trying to acquire one of these quarterbacks, then it makes sense. Don't get your money tied up in one of those guys. And that's what I'm still waiting to see. Like, what's our move here? Because we're not targeting a guy like Khalil Mack. And it's like, okay, what's the reason behind that? Now, is it because Khalil Mack just didn't want to come here? Or is it, we just didn't really want to venture out into that. We think we're going to get one of these guys that we talk about, whether it's a Deshaun Watson, right? Or any of these guys. Like, that's the part for me. I'm just trying to see, like, how is this going to play out? And we're going to get that information soon with free agency starting up, next week. Like, we're going to get some of those details.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of rumors flying around.
Yeah. Absolutely,
us resigning Edmonds if we don't go for him. Jordan Whitehead coming back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carlton Davis. I think some of these were broken by your boy too, Filippone.
Absolutely, man. I think he just shot me a text too.
There was another. Was there another name or two? But we are starting to be linked to some of these players out there. Like, all right, so hold on, Stephon Gilmore. What were we saying with him? 13, 14 maybe.
Yeah, probably in that range.
Carlton Davis. What could he be going for? Maybe 10.
Yeah, 10 to 11, because he's younger, though. He's younger than Gilly. Yeah, but still not as proven as Gilly either on that level, so yeah. I mean, double digits regardless, but low double digits.
Like, yeah, maybe could you get the Carlton Davis plus Devondre Campbell combination versus Khalil Mack? Right. Maybe I'd go with the two players. We talked about Bobby Wagner. It's like, would you rather have one Bobby Wagner or have a Devondre Campbell and, a Carlton Davis? Like, to me personally, I'd rather go with that absolute stud player versus two good players, because good players, you need them absolutely, but good players work when you have great quarterback play or you have something great already to counterbalance you in a sense. Right now, we don't have that necessarily, so our margin of error is still very tight, and that's why if your margin of error is tight, you want to make sure you have proven above reproach guys that are going to be difference makers out there week in and week out. And that's kind of my approach with it. What do you think of Bobby Wagner versus Khalil then? I'd probably go Bobby just position-wise.
Yeah, position-wise.
Highsmith could make that jump. And Highsmith played good last year, I thought.
Well, no, and put it like this. Highsmith is a good player without a doubt. I just don't think Highsmith is Khalil Mack. He's not that. And I think that's the biggest difference. But for me, I would lean Bobby Wagner just because our inside linebacker position, we have to improve. Whether we're talking Devin Bush or Joe Schobert or both of those guys, we need to improve that part of our defense. Whereas I don't feel like Alex Highsmith is anywhere viewed like how we view Devin Bush and Joe Schobert right now. I think Alex Highsmith is a daggone good player who's a proven starter in this league, and you want that guy. That's why I was very clear when I said, even if you bring in Khalil, you still keep Alex. Because Alex is a guy that you're going to want to pay down the line. You're going to want to keep him here. He's the next guy in the wings. But because of his contract and where he's at right now, you can get away with the Khalil Mack for a year. That's why I was thinking it like that.
Yeah. Anything else on this one? I think we both agree that
we're on the same
made a pretty good move here. I just think the Bears maybe could have got more, but who knows? Because the contract definitely does make things worse.
Yeah,
that's why Von Miller probably went for the second and the third as opposed to Khalil Mack for just the second and the sixth, because Von Miller was done after the Rams wouldn't have to worry about that contract if things went sour.
Correct.
I guess that's it. I would have guessed like a first maybe though, or maybe at least a second and a third, second and a fourth.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, I get you got to take on the contract, but knowing that you got that out a year later, like. That doesn't kill you. Like, I look at Bud Dupree's contract, and I was like, man, because I saw what Harold Landry had just did his mega extension. I'm like, is he a potential release candidate? And I'm like, well, he got $28 million in dead cap if they release him now. Even the following year, I think it said 11. No. It's teens. I want to say it's in the teens. So even when I look at that, I'm like, oh, that seems a little bit more steep. But 11 mil for dead cap, that's not crazy for a team that has cap space and knowing what you're going to get from Khalil in that 1 year, man. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waistline grooming, baby. They get all the delicate spots and make them nice and sweet for you and whoever you like to have a little bit of fun with. But more importantly, man, it just makes the male grooming experience that much better, right? When we talk about that Lawnmower 4.0, we talk about the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, the body wash, that spray, the cologne, you got to smell good. And like I told you, St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner, so we all trying to get lucky, okay? But the best way to do that is to use the promo code, right? And that promo code is MOATS. Use that code, you get 20% off of your purchase, plus free shipping worldwide, so that way you could be like me and all of our Irish people out there and get lucky come St. Patty's Day. All right? So with that being said, baby, shout out to Manscaped. And trust me on this, your delicate twins will definitely thank you as well.